Hi folks, this is Adam Perry speaking. I'm just starting a new video in regards to a personal project that I've been working on. I do readings for myself too, not just for you fine folk, and I do readings for the world. I've been trying to here and there share, sort of do group readings or readings for people in social media and live videos and that sort of thing. But this one feels a bit more official. This one, it's actually an idea. A friend of mine named Jolie, whom suggested at the end of her reading that I should maybe do a world reading, but just do one for each of the countries. So I've done 9 countries up till now, and it's, what is it? It is and that was towards the end of last year. However, I have been guided to pick up the pen again, and the next country is Austria. So, the last country I did last year, 2018, was Australia, my country, at least the country I live in, and Austria is my country that is being channeled in this reading. So basically my process is, if you're unfamiliar with it, I ask the Divine, what do you want to show Austria? And then I start receiving images. I will at this point also include that it's geared towards Earth's, or Mother Nature's, Gaia's, the Sophia, from a Gnostic perspective, that it's geared towards her evolution, towards what we're kind of calling the New Earth. So let's begin. This is something important, and I will be putting it, hopefully on, definitely on YouTube, and hopefully on IGTV, and perhaps Facebook as well. So we'll see how we go. Let's begin. So Austria, here we come. So the first image here was the birthing of the blue goddess in the mountains. I'll show you there. Now, these are quite vague sketches. So, there's, an elliptical egg form, and, a luminous egg often is birth of the divine feminine. And she's coming out of a mountain. Now, mountains in my work, and, as a general symbol, are, earth reaching up into the heavens, and to, for heaven to come back down and, meet us halfway. So you've got birthing of the blue goddess. And now this blue goddess, I was looking back at my old notes for New Earth readings that I'd done also last year for a book that I had started, and I'm still doing. I thought I'd finished it, but maybe not. Watch that space. But I saw a blue goddess, and this was her in the New Earth, with her in the New Earth, and this was present moment, although in the future, and this spiritual female being at least had a blue glow about her, and I don't know necessarily if she was of the water or not, but certainly she was amorphous or, fluid like water. Anyway, so birthing of the blue goddess in the mountains, New Earth, and there was that New Earth atmosphere about it. And so this is in Austria, so, in a mountain in Austria. Reaches over the crevasse with 3 serpents. So from the top of the mountain, 3 serpents reach across a dark crevasse. And serpents in my work, they are like, they're a personal guide, but I believe that they're Gaia's helpers. I feel like they're her helping spirits as much as, mine. So they come about in serpents or dragons, snakes. These serpent beings are helping spirits, or, animal totems that work for her, her being Gaia, and they're reaching over the crevasse. Now, whenever I see a crevasse, it's usually in the context of a leap of faith. And there's this, and the absolute, the sort of the deep mystery, the great mystery. And so there's this, coming from a mountain toward crossing this crevasse of faith, to, I believe, the, present moment or near future. And then in the next image, darker beings embrace the cliff face. Now, this was a brief image, and I kind of included it after I'd drawn the next image. The impression is they became more of a humanoid form after they'd crossed the crevasse. And what's the next thing? The next thing is after they crossed the crevasse and absorbed themselves into the rock, into the earth element of the present moment Austria. And then in the next image, a priesthood receives the information, sending out 4 streams of light in a dark cave or cathedral. Now, that's the image here. So there's light above it, and there's, the central priest, or, holy man or figure, in prayer with his, I won't say congregation, I'll say other holy people, and he was receiving this light information, a divine feminine, but I got the feeling that these were it was like a monastery, or and they were receiving new earth information via a very orthodox religion, and these 4 streams of light, when I focused my attention on one of them, I saw them being received by a sort of a happy farming family. Yeah, like one of the fellow, like the father figure, had a beard, and there was the wife and children. Um, so there was, and yeah, happily receiving this New Earth information. Something about the New Earth, I really get the impression that we are going to be returning to a more nature-based way of life. So, that's quite vague. So farming and more shamanic practices, spiritually. So that feels tied in with that. Next image, not so salt of the earth, so like it felt quite a bit more mythological. So like myth in the visions I receive as a seer often comes about. So the next image, after the happy family receiving the light of the priest, were these water stallions running across the ocean like it was ground, and above it was this focusing energy of the new earth. So what did I write? Water horses gallop, and the new earth connection manifested. Yeah, there was a focusing of this energy's attention, and then in the next image, equally, with this archetypal, mythological, visionary type imagery, I saw the trunk of a tree, and very, very massive scale tree. And whenever I see sort of a massive scale tree, I naturally think of the tree of life. That tree that for me connects the earth and heavens via the trunk, and and the three worlds. If you are looking at it from a shamanic perspective, the lower world or underworld, the middle world, where we exist in our three-dimensional form, and heaven, the upper world. So so I saw this tree trunk and a black serpent with this yellow belly or stripe climbing up the growing tree. So this tree was growing as I was watching it, and rising, and it actually reminded me of like a memory of a child. Like I used to have like these imaginings, as we all do, as children and as present day adults, of imagining wherever there was like a spare space in, say, the city. Like I'd be walking along the footpath, and there would be like a struggling tree, or no tree at all, and there was a crack in the ground, and I used to imagine these massive trees growing up wherever there was room, and not encroaching too much on the cars, or like life. They were very considerate, but at the same time there was just pure forest wherever there was a square inch of space. And that's what it kind of reminded me of, like this massive more than symbolic tree growing. And then in the next image, I saw a second serpent coil itself around this tree. And then when this tree, I presume, had reached its full bloom, it started bursting into light. And with the second coil, it reminded me of the double helix. So, a lot of perspectives on us evolving as a species and like into fifth dimensional reality, and evolving as a species, like our DNA upgrading and this sort of thing. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the double helix, but it also reminded me of the staff of Hermes, the what you see predicted like as a medical symbol. So like there was that sense of healing, and I'll just show you a picture. Often words don't always suffice, and so with it exploding into light, it's like there was missing pieces in the DNA that were that the tree of life that connected earth and heaven was evolving into light. And then in the next image, the priesthood, the cloister that were connected with Source, their heads were turning into light too. So, and in the next image, it did get kind of Norse mythological. Like I thought I saw Thor. Like, so sometimes you kind of get these skew with imagery in the middle of a visionary or channeling session, but yeah, and he was kind of moving forward, like as a part of their group light, just there in this sort of brief image. And then for the final image, I saw, what did I see? Oh, that's right. They're sort of above this temple. I saw the horses again, but they were, moving from the water into the sky, and then in the foreground were the two. Well, I call them serpents of transformation. Like that's what they are, and like, or at least that's how they work. To help create permanent change, like as opposed to change, which is all the time, but there's a certain permanence about the change. So thank you for listening. Thank you for enduring all my ums and ahs. Thank you for being a part of something that is obviously important enough for Spirit, the Divine, to keep nudging me to make these videos. So, and thank you, Austria, for letting me connect with your beautiful country. So, thank you so much, and You're welcome to write any comments or just message me if you have any questions or comments or anything of the sort. Next country is Azerbaijan. I think I pronounced it correct. In the Middle East. So thank you kindly. Until our next video. Bye for now.